Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, good evening. I am Abubakar Bangura with News Hour. Coming up in this edition, Parliament summons 3 production companies to answer to questions relating to the operations and issues around corporate social responsibilities. NJALA University for Academic Advancement organizes second annual research conference on the theme Building Resilience Through Research. Ebola Orphans, Survivors and Widows project launched, and the newly appointed UN coordinator and resident representative of the UNDP in Sierra Leone pays courtesy call on President Ernest by Kuruma at State House. All the stories and more, including business and sports news, lined up here in this edition of News Hour, which begins right now. And now for our first story this evening, the newly appointed UN coordinator and resident representative of the UNDP in Sierra Leone, Sumel Segal, has paid courtesy call on President Ernest by Kuruma at State House. Razia KAMARA sent in this report, read in the studios by Daphne Zainab KAMARA.
Briefing President Kuruma, Mr. Sunil Saigal conveyed greetings to His Excellency the President from his authorities and thanked him and his government for endorsing his appointment to Sierra Leone. He maintained that he is extremely honored to be received by President Kuruma within a short time of his arrival, which he said is a sign of good relations that exist between the United Nations and his government. The UN coordinator and UNDP representative disclosed that he coordinated many other duties to organize the International Ebola Recovery Conference, noting that he was also with His Excellency during his social mobilization tours around the country. He pointed out that he feels that he knows the country very well, although this is the first time he has been appointed to work in Sierra Leone.
Less than 10 days ago, I'm extremely honored to have been received by yourself as early in my stay here as is the case. And I, with your permission, take that as a sign of the very good relations that exist between the United Nations and your government. I am extremely honored to have been appointed to this particular position. I had the honor and the privilege to work with Sierra Leone since September 2014, when the administrator asked me to coordinate UNDP's contribution to the global Ebola response, and among many other duties, to organize the International Ebola Recovery Conference.
Welcoming the UN resident coordinator and UNDP representative on his personal and on behalf of the government and people of Sierra Leone, President Kuruma assured him that Sierra Leone and the United Nations have had excellent relationship over the years. The President maintained that Sierra Leone is referred to as one of UN's most successful stories in terms of intervention, providing support, helping the country to go through a peace process, consolidating the peace, and transforming themselves from a country that is being supported to have peace to a country supporting other countries to maintain peace in their countries. This, he pointed out, was a great transformation, while informing him that the UN Secretary General was very pleased when he was in Sierra Leone to wrap up United Nations peace efforts and transform Sierra Leoneans from peace building to growth. President Kuruma emphasized that as a government, they have maintained that growth and quickly accelerated the process to the point when they positioned themselves as the second fastest growing economy in the world and a country that has transformed itself and belong to the leading countries that are considered to be most transformed in governance and other indicators. The president expressed regrets that government was busy on national development when Ebola struck, adding that again, during that period, United Nations responded and provided the country with support. President Koroma went on that after Ebola, government has been through the immediate recovery program of 6 to 9 months, which they have examined and validated. The president disclosed that indications are all very positive in terms of achieving the targets that they have set for themselves. He said the children are now back to school, the health facilities are working nationwide, and there is now growing confidence as the people are back to health facilities seeking health services.
Already we have been quite supportive, organized donor conference and pledges were made, and I think in that vein we have kind of opened a fund which we hope that we will have implemented because we believe that if we have an umbrella fund, a basket fund where everything goes into, we will be able to know exactly those that have made pledges and that have fulfilled their pledges, and those that have fulfilled their pledges will be in a position to know how the funds that they have put in expended. All I believe we want to do here is to ensure there is transparency and accountability in the use of the funds that have been committed, and also the targeted groups for the funds realize the benefit of these funds to the fullest. That is the whole object, and we hope that we will work on it.
In another development, the chairman of the Sierra Leone Football Association 7-man working group, constituted by His Excellency the President, Dr. Sheku Conte and team, also briefed President Anis Koroma on the activities they have undertaken so far to bring sanity to football in the country.
Since there was a change of personnel, minister at the ministry, we tried to have an appointment with the new minister, but unfortunately we have not received any response. I spoke to the deputy minister of sports to inform him that the 7-man committee would like to meet with the minister so as to brief him about what has transpired and how best to work with the ministry to ensure that this process becomes a success.
Try to create more opportunities for our young people who have the potential to develop their potential to the fullest, to develop their potential not only nationally but even internationally. So there is a lot that we can achieve by ensuring that there is sanity into this whole thing. That is why I believe with the work you have done, the presentation of the tools that you're going to use in the process, I am convinced that if it is implemented to the letter, we are going to put all of these problems behind us, because you're going to have an inclusive engagement out there that will come out with the real representation, and in the process it will also bring some kind of organization at the district level.
The chair lady of White House Women's Development Organization has called on the government of Sierra Leone to provide them with land to construct a training institute for women. She made the call at a forum organized and held in commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the White House Women's Development and launching of a basket fund for the proposed vocational training center. The ceremony took place at Hotel 510 Kisi. Mama Denken has the story.
These women are known for their patriotism in their community. The White House Women's Development Organization has been in existence since 1991. According to the Secretary General of the organization, Haja Bumamakano, the organization has been honored the first prize of the Commonwealth Youth Program for its immense contribution towards youth empowerment. She noted that in 1996, the organization conducted a survey on the problem faced by street girls, and it reveals that girls in the eastern part of the country are at high risk to teenage pregnancy. Hajabu Mama Kanu said it was out of this that they want to establish this vocational training center in the community. Sharing the program, Haja Kadi Johnson, head of Radio SLBC, said the women needs to be encouraged as they are contributing towards development of Sierra Leone. She frowned at the absence of policymakers at the program as they only visit them during elections period.
So I hope say this organization go from strength to strength, and by how they talk, it look like say this organization, the organization we don't tell where it is, but it seems as if they're not going to they push them for let people that will know about them. But by God and Anabi power, myself go, do me a small way for push the organization will be.
Councillor Mary Kamara of 346 commended the women for this vision in empowering vulnerable women to achieve their dreams. Chairlady of the organization, Margaret Brown, said the institute started with only 10 girls in 1991, and they have now grown to about 500 women. She said our institute has established similar training institutes in neighboring Guinea, Liberia, and the Gambia. Mrs. Brown said the course is 3 years. Madam Brown called on the government of President Nkrumah to provide land to establish a training center.
Well, we form her because we see some picking there, girl picking there. So they did a street. They not get nothing what they do. So we form this organization and we say, okay, now we will call them TTL, we can land them for do something we will benefit them tomorrow.
In his keynote address, Mohammed Kamara expressed appreciation to the women for this laudable vision. Launching the basket fund for the proposed Vocational Training Institute, Mr. Kamara called on the Ministry of Social Welfare and other line ministries to support the women achieve this dream. Board member Sailing Broadcasting Corporation, Dr. Mamoud Kamara, appreciated the women for establishing the organization in this vulnerable community, adding that he is sensitive to women's issues.
NJALA University for Academic Advancement has organized its second annual research conference on the theme Building Resilience Through Research at NJALA Campus Mokunde. According to the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University, Professor Ernest Domaina, researchers should institute justice in their journals that will impact communities to mitigate development in all sectors of human needs. Eve Jasko reports on the story.
The NJALA University Society for Academic Advancement second annual research conference, which was attended by researchers, scientists, and lecturers from various institutions, looked at pressing issues like economic development, social security, climate change, and health, education, mining, agriculture, and the likes. The Vice Chancellor and Principal of NJALA University, Professor Ernest Domaina, said the research conference is in the right direction, especially when the country is advancing its development strategy, and stressed the need for justice in research system for community development. He said the theme Building Resilience Through Research is a clarion call for Sierra Leone's researchers to look at all sectors on how to create and sustain research facilities, looking at social, cultural, and economic background in communities. Professor Ernest Lumaina cited that his dream is to have a registered JALA consultant services research and assured researchers, scientists and lecturers that all research papers will be published by the university, including a thorough review of some of the research journals. Representing the president of the JALA University for Academic Advancement, Emmanuel Kangoma, said presentation on education, agriculture, environmental sciences, natural resources will underscore the advancement, research and knowledge transfer to national development of Sierra Leone. He added that investing in research and knowledge management system, many nations have been able to stay above the submissive influences of both natural and man-made disasters, noting that a lot can be done to change the course of Sierra Leone's history by simply rethinking the current strategy for promoting research and knowledge management in the country. The President Academic Staff Association, JALA University, Dr. Samba Moriba, said the research is conducted to add knowledge, improve practice and inform policy debate, and that research needs to have clear results, be summarized in a concise fashion, and should include database evidence. He noted that researchers focus on improving teaching and neglect research and publications, citing that the ability of Sierra Leoneans to prosper can be enhanced by improving the human resource capacity of our institutions of higher education. The keynote speaker and executive director, In-Depth Network based in Ghana, Professor Usman Sanko, in his presentation on climate change and health, a research example revealing the needed capacities, emphasized that the research has helped other countries to revamp their development strategy. He encouraged researchers to do more and promised to make himself available at the university at all times. He emphasized on collaboration and cooperation as key to high-quality research product, saying that his institution over the years has been strengthening and funding research in 22 countries in Africa, Asia and Europe, and that he will be pleased for Sierra Leone to be a benefactor. Executive Director, In-Depth Network based in Ghana, Professor Usman Sanko, donated $5,000 to encourage those who have interest in researchers to apply for better opportunities.
Chief Executive Officer, Cotton Tree Foundation, JOAN KAMARA, has said the main thrust of the Ebola orphans, survivors and widows project is to provide educational support and improve on their economic and social livelihood. The Chief Executive Officer was speaking at the launch of a project titled Ebola Orphans, Widows and Survivors Project at Grafton Village, with funds from Intermission based in Germany. Ibrahim Samura reports.
I now launch these 3 projects in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Blessed Holy Spirit. Hallelujah!
These are widows, orphans, and survivors expressing their joy and happiness for the support they've received in these religious songs. Grafton is one of the villages in the western rural districts that was heavily hit by the Ebola scourge, leaving scores of Ebola orphans, widows, and survivors. The community was line-listed as a Ebola hotspot during the height of the Ebola fight. It was against this backdrop that the charitable faith-based organization Country Foundation has secured funding from Intermission in Germany to support these Ebola orphans, widows, and survivors. The project will be supporting them with learning materials, food and condiments, and startup kits through the Village Savings and Loan Scheme. The project monitoring and evaluation officer, Country Foundation, Edward Bailo, said the project mainly targets women and children, saying that they are mostly affected by the Ebola outbreak. He told the beneficiaries that they will cater for hundreds of orphans and widows in the Grafton community as a pilot project. Chief Executive Officer, Country Foundation, JOAN KAMARA, said they designed the projects to reintegrate them into the community and restore their hopes. She said the learning materials, including the school fees, is to support the education of the orphans, and the startup kits is to improve on the economic status of the widows and survivors through the village savings and loan scheme.
At the end of this project, we want to see a changed life. We want to see their lives improve for the better. We don't want to see them on the streets begging, especially for the widows. Presently, they don't have husbands. They are the breadwinners. They fend for themselves. And so we want to empower them financially so they will restore their dignity again, and then they will become a responsible citizens in the future.
She admonished the beneficiaries to take advantage of the opportunity, saying that they will be monitoring them on a monthly basis. Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, Chief Pa Alimami Sisi and Madam Mabintu Kanu appreciated Country Foundation for the support, so therefore they deserve to be supported. They expressed the hope that at the end of the project, their lives could have changed and improved on their businesses. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
Depression, marital and parenting cases account for highest staff at the BBN Counseling Center. This disclosure was made by the Chief Executive Officer of the Center Ransford Right during a training session of counselors by an international counseling center called Reach Beyond. The training is to increase the knowledge of the counselors in their counseling services. Although there is a culture of silence in Sierra Leone, the BBN Counseling Center has provided services to over 3,000 Sierra Leoneans. The trend, according to Ransford Wright, is gradually changing as a result of high level of confidentiality displayed by counselors. The BBN Training Center was established in 2012 by the BBN Radio, which operation cost over 100 million leones. Well, this is News Alive on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. The management of the Milton Magai College of Education and Technology has concluded a field trip to Makeni for over 50 students at the Wusum Hotel and Hotel Conteyu in Makeni, northern Sierra Leone. The tour was to enable students to get first-hand information on their areas of studies. We now bring you the report.
Enabled students to get first-hand information on their areas of studies and to gain broader knowledge and experiences from colleagues from an established institution. These students drawn from different departments from the Milton Magai College of Education, Science and Technology Brookfields campus in Freetown was to get first-hand information from personnel manning the Roland Beach, Usum Hotel and Hotel Conteyu in Makeni. Addressing students, the Dean of Faculty of Hotel Tourism and Nutritional Science for the Milton Magai College of Education, Science and Technology, Madam Cecilia Bangura, encouraged students to make proper use of the field trip and described it as an eye-opener for the students. Receiving students, the proprietor for the Roland Beach at Rogbane Village in Makeni, Dr. Roland Toure, appreciated students and staff of the Milton Magai College of Education, Science and Technology for considering the Roland Beach as part of their field trip. He disclosed that he has acquired over 500 acres of land that comprises a natural and artificial beach and a proposed site for hotels, zoo, fish pond, stadium and many more. Dr. Roland Toure made it known that it all started in 2015. He added that all developments that have been undertaken was financed by him and that proceeds derived presently from the beach serves as a revolving loan to the women and award of scholarships to deserving students within the community. In another engagement, the management and students visited the Usum Hotel and the Hotel Conteyu in Makeni to look at some of their facilities and how they operate. Alpha Bangura is the admin officer for the Wusum Hotel, who gave a comprehensive picture of the hotel. He made it known that the idea for the construction of the hotel started in 2007, and since then they have been serving the nation efficiently, and that the hotel had good number of trained and qualified personnel to man the hotel effectively. The director for the hotel, Cornelius Slim Conte, explained about the advantage in hospitality work and encouraged students to be well disciplined, honest, sober-minded, and cultivate market strategies if they want to pursue in hotel management. Head of Department Food and Beverage Production and Service, Dominic Lewis, described the field trip as a laudable venture and added that students have benefited a lot from the 2 days field trip. He assured students that what they have heard and seen will be of great help towards their areas of studies. Dominic Lewis encouraged students to take advantage of the statements made by various speakers. A conducted tour by the hotel management to their kitchen, restaurant, bar, hall, and entertainment center climaxed the field trip in Makeni.
4 accused persons who were charged with offenses related to disorderly behavior following a clash with the police at the SLPP headquarters have been granted bail. They were granted bail of 70 million leones each, with 2 sureties by Principal Magistrate Dr. Bine KAMARA following applications by a battery of lawyers headed by Abubakar. According to our court correspondent, Princess Gibson, it was emotional as relatives and friends embraced the 4 accused persons, Mariam Lulu Sharif, Peter Lume, Sheikh Paul, and Masabaya moved out of the dock. The case has been adjourned to Tuesday, 12th May, when the prosecution will bring forth prosecution witnesses. Former SLPP Labour Minister Alpha Timbo has declared his intention to contest for the flag bearership of the Sierra Leone People's Party at Rokulang in Sanda Chiefdom, Bombali District. In attendance were some key stakeholders of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Mama Denken Kanu filed in this report for NewsHour.
Ascension mounts among political party contenders. The Sierra Leone People's Party is one among parties whose position of flag bearer is gaining momentum. Among the emerging aspirants in the party is Alpha Usman Timbo. Mr. Timbo says his intention for aspiring as a flag bearer of the SLPP is to change the ideology that the SLPP party is a Mende party.
I'm very much optimistic. I believe SLPP has learned its lesson that we need to go to State House. We need to win the election. And the only way we'll be able to win the election is for us to be able to gather the kind of votes that is required of us nationally for us to be able to clinch that. And I believe I have that particular reputation that I have built over the years to be able to capture the hearts and minds of the vast majority of the people of Sierra Leone, including those people who originally find it very difficult to normally associate themselves with the SLPP as a result of the way they perceive SLPP as a Mendeman party. And that is why I believe we represent that particular situation, and that particular political divide is going to be addressed.
He adds that he is working with all his colleague aspirants to regularize the codes and conduct of the party.
I am here today to talk to my chiefdom people, to tell them about my intention to lead the Sierra Leone People's Party and eventually to become the next president of the Republic of Sierra Leone after the tenure in office of President Ernest Mamoud. That is precisely why I am here to drive home that particular message. And all the people you see in here, and that is the main reason why they are here.
The chairman of the meeting, Romy Gidwani, says the meeting was organized to assess the chances of Alpha Timbo winning the elections for the SLPP. He describes Mr. Timbo as a man of integrity and will therefore make a good candidate. Paramount Chief Kande Wususise II describes Alpha Timbo as a son of the soil, and that they as chiefdom elders are ready to support him in whatever endeavor he wants to undertake. He adds that the reception given to him by his chiefdom is a clear demonstration that Alpha Timbo is appreciated in his chiefdom. SLPP Chairman Chief Suman Okapen says they are yearning for peace and stability within the party. The chairman adds that the SLPP is a party that is ready to reduce poverty and reduce health hazards in the country, and as the party is looking for a leadership that will deliver equal opportunities to its citizens. Civil society activist Robert Cargo says they were present at the meeting to assess the atmosphere among party members, which he says was peaceful. Statements from different stakeholders in the party climaxed the meeting.
Plan International Sierra Leone has commenced a day sales training workshop titled Little Sun. The program will capacitate 45 youths from Kailon, Putloko and the western area on how to handle and sell solar lights in their various communities. The partnership is in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth Affairs. Over 5,000 solar lights are now in the country to kickstart the project. Wamusiri has details of that story.
Plan International Sierra Leone is celebrating 40 years of partnership with the government and people of Sierra Leone. The organization continues to sustain and consolidate more programs in education, health, child protection, water and sanitation, livelihood and human resource development. Country Director of Plan International Sierra Leone, Casey Coleman, says the Ministry of Youth Affairs is one of the most important strategic government partners for Plan since he assumed the role of Country Director in Sierra Leone. The natural light has 2 years warranty by the company, and a change in the sun can last for over 2 days. Adding that the first group will be trained as sales agents as the business grows, and the company is prepared to supply on demand through replacement of purchase order.
Today we launched a national young persons project in livelihood, and the focus is on using solar lamps as a means of supporting other outcomes. We hope to bring it to scale. Plan has been doing this in Zimbabwe with success, and we've been doing this in partnership with Plan Denmark, who are the investors in this concept. And we are happy to be rolling it out, and we hope that it will be successful, and then we will bring it to scale.
Minister of Youth Affairs by Mamoud Bangura commended Plan International Sierra Leone for supporting the government agenda for prosperity, adding that the training of solar sunlight sales will enhance livelihood support for the youths in their different communities. The Minister of Youth Affairs calls on the participants to be attentive and participate fully in the training so that they will be able to do proper sales.
I want to assure you that under my leadership, I will give the fullest cooperation to Plan to see that we team up. We must believe as young people of this country that no government in the world is capable to employ more than 30% of its citizens, but the private sector. That is why just ventures, capacitation, make us self-reliant are very much important. Plan, thank you very much for taking that diversion in making us proud and making us self-reliant as young people of this country.
One of the sales agents from Zimbabwe, Edinius Makono, who is also the director of Allied, told the participants that similar projects has been implemented in Zimbabwe and Tanzania, where the youths were successful in the venture. The whole idea, Edinius Makono says, is to be able to sell the lamps in communities who are without electricity, as it will help the students, especially in their studies. At the end of the program, the country director of Plan International Sierra Leone presented one of the awards backed by his organization to the Minister of Youth Affairs. SLBC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hamasuri reporting.
President of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists SLAJ, KELVIN has said the continued presence of the use of the criminal libel law is a constant threat to the right to media freedom. Mr. Lewis made the statement during a symposium commemorating World Press Freedom Day at SLAJ headquarters on Campbell Street in Freetown on the theme World Press Freedom Day is access to information and fundamental freedoms. It's your right. Awanatu Conte has this story.
This is the 25th anniversary of UNESCO's 1991 Windhoek Declaration of an Independent and Pluralistic African Press, a landmark declaration developed by African journalists in Namibia. In 1993, the United Nations proclaimed the date of adoption of the declaration, May 3rd, as World Press Freedom Day. It is also a day to reflect among media professionals about issues of press freedom and professional ethics. President of SLAJ, KELVIN, said the UN recognizes the day as World Press Freedom Day, and UNESCO has set aside the day to serve as a reminder to governments of the need to respect their commitments to press freedom. He said from 2007 to date, over 25 journalists have been arrested, interrogated, detained or jailed, and 2 convicted of criminal libel.
SLAJ reiterates its call to President Nkrumah to make good his 8-year-old election promise to repeal the criminal libel laws. We continue to maintain that there are enough provisions in the civil laws to address any redress sought from those aggrieved by our work. If medical doctors are not charged with murder and executed for making mistakes on their theater tables where lives are lost while practicing their profession, why should journalists be jailed for practicing their profession?
Mr. Lee said the day coincided with the 250th anniversary of the world's first freedom of information law, noting that in Sierra Leone it has been 2 years, 5 months since the Right to Access Information Act was passed into law. He added that despite several tries, journalists are yet to benefit from the legislation. Mr. Lewis maintained that information dealing with laws and public expenditure must be open and freely accessible so as to enable journalists to hold governments accountable on behalf of the citizens. He commended the Right to Access Information Commission for the recent Open Data Festival, which he said offers opportunities for citizens to participate in decision-making. Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, Cornelius DEVEAUX, said access to information and fundamental freedoms are linked and are principles in any democratic process which enhance good governance, accountability, transparency, and the people's right to know and make informed decisions. He said government will continue to strengthen the capacity of media practitioners as a demonstration of their commitment and support to enhance press freedom.
We have and will continue to provide a legal and regulatory environment that allows for an open and pluralistic media sector to emerge. A political will to support the sector and rule of law to protect it. Laws ensuring access to information, especially information in the public domain. These efforts, along with media professionals adhering to the highest ethical and professional standards prescribed in the IMC Code of Practice, serve as the fundamental infrastructure on which freedom of expression can prevail alongside respect for fundamental freedoms.
Mr. DEVEAUX encouraged media practitioners to be professionals as the media serves as a watchdog, and urged journalists to take proactive measures in making information available. He said government will continue to engage relevant stakeholders in mapping out a suitable alternative that will protect citizens from the excesses of overzealous media practitioners and some whom the public consider to be blackmailers in disguise
of the noble profession. Chairman of the Media Reform Coordinating Group, Ransford Wright, said his organization was set in 2013 to improve media ethics and see that they operate in a conducive environment. Chairman of IMC and Right to Access Information Commission, Ambassador Aliu Kanu and Unisa Sise, spoke of their mandates and roles of their institutions. Chairperson of the program, Mamadi Gobe Kamara, said the Sustainable Development Goals recognize that sustainable development includes public access to information and fundamental freedoms. Discussions on the 1965 Public Order Act, the significance of access to information on fundamental freedoms, and the repeal of the seditious and criminal libel laws climaxed the symposium. I wanted to continue reporting for SLBC TV News.
So, and these are the main points again. Parliament has summoned 3 production companies to answer to questions relating to their operations and issues around corporate social responsibilities. The newly appointed UN coordinator and resident representative of UNDP in Sierra Leone has paid a courtesy call on President Ernest by Nkrumah at State House. Ebola Orphans, Survivors and Widows project has been launched, and the 4 accused persons who were charged with offenses related to disorderly behavior following a clash with the police at the SLPP headquarters have been granted bail. Well, that's all in this edition of News Broadcast Live on the SLBC. On behalf of the news editor Sheikh Usmaila and my news producer Daphne Zainab Kamara, I am Abubakar Bangura in Freetown. For more information about the programs, do send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. Up next, issues in the news. Stay with us. This is the SLBC.